Good times, royal family. Beautiful, eh? As we're just utilizing the NASA feed, all courtesy, observing the eclipse currently as we speak, different parts of its trail, and just looking at the time now, in a few moments, well, actually, it would have already begun, even where we are right here in Antigua, at least whatever we will get. I already showed you, even in the previous broadcast that we did, just the little snippet that we'd be seeing around 3:27. And of course, one of the main things as it relates to the eclipse, they make sure they continually speak to you about the glasses and to look into the sun and these different things. And that subject area, it's interesting. And why it is interesting, it is because, let me say, first of all, sun gazing is an ancient art. Nobody needs to be afraid of them kind of knowledge there. Sun gazing is an ancient art. The levels of inspiration and power that you can get from sun gazing, nobody tells you not to look into the television. The television is a light bulb just beaming at you. When you're driving in the night and all of the headlamps are coming towards you, it's just light in your eyes. Dangerous. Looking at the computer screen and looking at the cellular phone, and you're just looking and it's right up in your face. That's like having a flashlight in your eyes. But you don't hear the daily warning about that. But you constantly, as if you leave this out, we will charge you with some sort of crime. Make sure you have on your glasses when you look at the sun, when you look at the eclipse. Now, sun gazing is an art too. I would never run and encourage anyone to just go be looking at no sun. That's me for sure. Obviously, there's a technique to it. And I mean, come on. There's powers, especially with the rising and the setting sun, and even the midday sun and how you do it. I'm not going to go into no depths here, but even a glimpse and then you close your eyes. Oh, you don't even understand. A glimpse and then you close your eyes. You don't even understand the power. Well, maybe you do. I should not say it like that. Maybe you do comprehend the sort of energy and power that you can get. And then now, the literal eclipse, especially you are observing a solar eclipse. I mean, I would have seen a full solar eclipse right here in Antigua in 97 it was. 110 square miles around the island perfectly. This was the place. People, just in the same way, you see people flying from all around to witness the eclipse along the belt that it is going. In the same way, Antigua, I mean, they were coming from all over the world. The harbors were full to capacity with yachts, and people on all the pastures, football fields, stadiums, observing the eclipse that was passing over Antigua. 97, 98 it was. And we observed that they were doing the same thing. Make sure you wear your glasses, and they had the glasses selling and everything. It was a big thing. Mm-hmm. But those of us who were busting out as rats, we knew that something was wrong. Yeah, man, I witnessed the eclipse with my eyes. I watched that, and yeah, I mean, didn't do me a thing. I don't wear glasses. I can read, I think, as good as most. And yeah, so I give thanks. But my point is, again, I would not encourage ones to just be glaring. It is a dangerous thing. You have to understand and know what you're doing and when. But anyway, at the moment now, as I said, the energy is passing through. Most ones would have are taking in the total eclipse as we speak right now. Some of you, depending on where you are, would have already seen a bit of it maybe an hour or two ago. There's a bit more to be seen, again, going more up the belt. And we here in the Caribbean right now, a bit of the sun is already blocked out. And it will be so maybe for the next 15 minutes going into half an hour. And it has been so again about for the last 20 minutes coming in. Yes, so whatever energy we will be feeling, we're feeling it now. And that is why I decided to come and just share a word with the family and keep the company again, and even observe where else on the planet or in this area where this eclipse is being seen. And again, I find it interesting. And earlier I mentioned St. Martin. For those who watched that video, it's not St. Martin, it was Martinique, I was supposed to say, more so this area here is almost like the cutoff point for the eclipse. So interesting. So we can see the eclipse from right here with them special glasses as well, because you see it's just a bit. So the sun will be really shining and blazing, and in the last hour, the temperature just went up. Remember, I showed you earlier that a heat wave. We are under a heat wave alert. Well, I must say, for the earlier part of the day, it was not as hot as even yesterday or even the Sabbath. In fact, some thick clouds just came out of nowhere. And then again in the last hour, the heat just soared up. But family, you got to understand this, I want to get into some reason when it comes to this eclipse. You have to remember, I know everybody has been giving their piece and giving their little aspect, and I think, yeah, let's look at it. This uprising, this morning, we were speaking about the mystic things that are taking place, even at this time. So you have the earthquakes, the one in Taiwan. You see buildings dropping, hanging over. And then, of course, the earthquake in New York, because ones that, there's a gentleman called in on a radio program here, and he was saying, man, he's been living in New York, and he's a regular caller, and he's been living in New York for decades now, and he never, ever felt anything like that. He was wondering if it was a bomb. and my understanding is that the epicenter was more so in New Jersey, I think, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere around there, But I'm just saying, yes, many ones would start to quote prophecy, earthquake in diverse places. But I must say that for a while now, earthquakes have been hitting in diverse places. But I am saying that I honestly believe all of these activities naturally has to do with the eclipse. The earthquake was right in the path of the eclipse. It's just nature. It's not religious. It's just nature. It doesn't have, and the true religion, whatever the true religion is, as you may want to call it a religion, is nature too. So if the Hebrew language is as valuable as is said to as some religions preach, I think it is interesting that the three eclipse, the one that is taking place now and the two prior to this in the United States, the one in 2003, no, 2023, and the other one is when I think it was 2017, something of the sort, 2015, 2017. But these three pathways for these three eclipses would be the alpha and the tau. You remember that discussion? I wonder if anyone understands Of course, exactly. The whole family is here because I'm not pulling up no slides right now. I don't want to change this and be pulling up the slides. I want to stick to the energy of the moment. But you saw, especially when you observe the curvature and the way that the path of the eclipse would curve, it looks like the Aleph and it does look like the Tav. I'm talking about, again, the pathway. I'm sure many ones understand exactly what I'm talking about. Again, we would have done programs on this. So you observe the three pathways of each of the eclipse, and the pathway gives you the Aleph. And then when you observe this eclipse and the previous eclipse, it gives you what appears to be an X. But when you observe the X properly, especially when you take into consideration the length of the different the length of the different sides of the X going out, it looks very much like the Tav. That's very interesting. And that's what you would say is the alpha and omega, the beginning and the end. So that was something that was brought out. And I did say to myself, that is something that is quite interesting, something to look into. And many were highlighting where they cross. There's a town where where the current eclipse and the previous eclipse cross, where they meet each other. There is an area there called Little Egypt. And then not to mention the Nineveh cities or towns, I think they're more towns than cities, that the eclipse will be passing over. But again, you see, I'm looking at this, that within itself is what you may consider prophetic, but true prophecy deals with frequency. True prophecy deals with nature as well. So Mount Etna now, the volcano, releasing the smokes in the halo, sort of spiral going out in the air. I'm understanding that it released several of these halos, circular looking smoke cycles. That's Mount Etna there. Now the volcano. So again, and that was yesterday, and I think the day before, because it all has to do, it's all related to not just this eclipse of today, but the eclipse of yesterday. Huh? There was an eclipse yesterday. Yes. I think in the astronomical world, and I'm going to get to the astrological world in a moment, because this eclipse is not in Aries, my family. This eclipse is taking place in Pisces. But in the astronomical world, they call it a conjunction. What happened yesterday about 1 o'clock? The moon getting into its newness, literally passed in front of Venus, the morning star, but it's really a planet. So it passed in front of the morning star, but the planet, which is a planet, which is the planet Venus. So remember, the light of Venus is so bright. I think Venus is not the bright. It outshines Sirius. Sirius being the brightest star, but Venus is the brightest object behind of the moon and the sun. And Venus would have, been hitting the earth with its energy constantly, especially at that time. But the moon came in front of Venus. It may not appear as dramatic as what is taking place with the sun, but Venus has its own value. And in the same way that the sun is given to the earth, you comprehend? Nutrients and energy and vibration, and the moon is now in front of the sun. All of that is cut off, at least from the area where the sun is penetrating. Oh, come on, please. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Earlier, I was listening to a live broadcast, and one individual, I can't remember the scientific name, but the scientific title that deals with animals to a certain degree, he was speaking about the bats coming out and their reaction to the onset of night. And he was speaking of, the chickens going up into the trees, which I myself would have witnessed personally at that time in 1998. We would have had a lot of fowl, that's what we call it, fowls, chickens, cocks and hens. And they would go up in the tree when it's evening. And of course, they're up early and they wake you up, Rastafari. Some people say cock-a-doodle-doo, but Rastafari. Yeah, so you notice, or even the flowers that would close in at night, close in for the eclipse. So that means whatever action, and listen to me good, remember when it's night, even your physical anatomy, your body reacts to the sun setting and these stars twinkle, twinkle coming out. That is why in the day, you activate the hormone melatonin much more than serotonin. But in the evening, pardon me, serotonin in the day, pardon me, let me get that straight. And melatonin in the evening. And that is why some people speak of partaking of the ganja in the evening and not the day, because how it reacts with the melatonin and encourages. Some people think that it fights against the serotonin in the day, but we did programs on that. And, when we really look and study it, it's a deep thing, because even the cannabis releases serotonin too. Very deep. But anyway, outside of, the cannabis, the melatonin part of me is in the evening. And the goodie, or the body as they call it, releases the hormone serotonin more in the day. And but my point is, whichever way it really was, and whatever the point is, that when the eclipse will take place over you, the biorhythm will literally change. So what would have taken place only in the evening or maybe at midnight is taking place within you now for 4 minutes. So you just, in 4 minutes, get a burst of melatonin, which you don't naturally get. And that's just touching the surface. There's so many other things taking place within your physical, from the brain waves, frequency, everything. Just in the same way you see the flowers close. In the same way you see the rooster go up. In the same way you see the bats come out. So the nocturnal come out. You comprehend? Because, not just because they think it's night, but the whole physical thinks that it's night. Even you, when you are under the eclipse, by nature, the biorhythm and everything reacts as if night is with us. And not just no regular night, midnight, especially if you're getting the total eclipse, because you must keep in mind that the light of the sun has actually been blocked off. Now, that's not natural, really, in a sense. Well, it's natural, but it's not the regular thing. When the sun comes up, it beats down on this earth as such for a period of time, about 12 hours, and then goes down, especially in the tropics. But on this special day, once in 375 years and all of that stuff, when on its movement throughout the day, it's going to take a break as such. Never does this. It just keeps beating down the light. And the earth is accustomed to just getting this light. But on this day, the moon is going to come in front of it and lock it out. Not the clouds now. not the day got very gloomy. Midnight, you better put on your headlamps. In fact, most people, when they experience a total eclipse, they say that, hey, I knew it was going to get dark, but I never expected this. They really turned tonight. Give thanks for, yeah, the energy that is passing through here right now as we speak. So in the same way that the energy can cause the earth to tremble at its wake, yeah, man. In the same way that the energy can cause a volcano to rejoice with a puff of circular smoke, throughout the day before its visitation. It's the same way we, within our frequency and energy, can coincide with it and adapt the energy. Because listen, as I said, there was an eclipse 24 hours ago, 26, 27 hours ago, with the moon and Venus, the moon on its way to where it is right now in front of the sun. And in the same way, Venus, just like the sun, has its own energy. Venus, just like the sun, is putting its light to the earth. So this is why you have plants that react with Venus. You have plants that react with Mars. I mean, you have plants that react with every planet. That's why they're plants and planets, you understand? So my point is, and this is deep, you have to comprehend that when the moon goes in front of Mars, when the moon goes in front of Uranus, to us it may just be a simple thing. That is why I said it, even yesterday. Those of you who are in tune, and I see many ones would have agreed that you could have felt the energy yesterday when the moon went in front of Venus. Now, I'm not asking, this ain't no pretension. I personally, maybe it's just me alone, but I know exactly what I am talking about. I myself went through a mystic experience from the moment the moon started to go in front of Venus. And even the experience carried me throughout the evening until the rising of this uprising today. So even throughout that period of the eclipse of the moon over Venus, then going towards the sun, that period in between is a serious vortex, a serious portal. Because again, the moon would have passed over the feminine energy still of war, which is Venus, in the constellation of Pisces. I'm getting there. And then now, the moon would have gone and stepped into the energy of the sun. And that had a space in between it of about 21 to 22 hours, a little less than a solar day. So you could imagine that 21 to 22 hours, there had to be a certain frequency and vibration in between there from Venus to the sun with the crossing of the moon. Lock off the light of Venus just for about maybe 2 or 3 hours, and then come and totally lock off the light of the sun. Because remember, they're equal in size, the sun and the moon, as it appears. The moon is not equal in size to Venus. Venus is just like a little thing there, and the moon is this big ball. So it's a totally different sort of vibration. But when it crosses its equal, which is the sun, at least in size, it's a process that everyone is observing and everyone is seeing. And now this is live, we're talking about really the majority of ones are getting the full impact of the eclipse as it is passing through. So that one opened the gate as such, and one sealed it from Venus to the sun within a day space. That's a very important aspect. Not didn't happen last week, and now this week is the sun eclipse. Within a space of a day, the moon crossed over an important planet, which is Venus, and then went and touched as it's doing right now. The eclipse of the sun. Give thanks. So open the vibes, family. Yeah. As the astrologers say, the portals are open. Yeah. And the astrologers are right, the portals are open. Yeah. But the astrologers are wrong. The portals are not open right now in Aries. Let me ask you something, family, especially the conscious ones, because I even notice, you know, I see a lot of ones even within the conscious community talking about this eclipse in Aries. Do you follow? Do you give any, even if you don't want to give a little attention to your good brother, Honorable Priest Isaac here? But what about Vedic astrology? Vedic astrology is more or less aligned with ancient astronomy, with the living heavens. Because remember, the heavens is alive. The sun in its movement of the great year from one age to the other age, 2,160 years, moves 1 degree every 72 years. To fulfill such movement of the 30 degrees from one age to the other age. So you can understand, 72 degrees a year. 1 degree every 72 years, pardon me. And that is why you get the 72. Oh, it's so many different vibrations. Do you know the Septuagint? The Septuagint, although it means 70, but it was named for the 72 individuals that supposedly translated it. You understand? So the 72 is seen in many mystic ways. Of course, the 72 that came before Osiris at the banquet, before he was cut into 14 pieces. And of course, in reality, the 72 nations that came at the coronation of Emperor Haile Selassie I. But the 72 deep, in science, the heart beats 72 times per minute. So the 72 beats in that time frame that is called a minute. What they would have done, they would have taken the time frame that is called a minute, and instead of 72 beats, they would have turned it into 60 beats. They found a way to fit 60 beats. You get what I'm saying? I hope you got me good. Okay, 60 seconds in a minute. But if your heartbeat was a second, I mean a natural heartbeat, I guess some would beat faster, some slower, whatever the case, but 72 beats per minute with understanding. So, and this is what biology say. I mean, you don't know, you can do your own research. I'm just showing you, you could just naturally see how the 72 is involved. So yeah, the sun moves 1 degree. The sun has to move 30 degrees to fulfill one age to another age. So that 72, when you time it times the 30, would give you the 2,160 years for an age, because every age is 2,160 years. So again, remember the fact that an age is that long. Obviously, you do not jump from one age to another age like, well, it's midnight and we have come to the end of the Pisces age, and now we are going to the Aquarius age. No, that's not how it goes at all. In fact, we are feeding very strong right now off of the Aquarius age. From my comprehension, like right now as we speak, the sun is still in the Pisces, which is the fish. Some say the fishes, but with the two fish. And of course, that has a lot to do with what age we are in. The age we are in, you map the age we are in by observing where the sun is on the 21st day of March. And the sun is still lodged very deeply in the Pisces constellation going into the Aquarius. But listen to me good, eh? We are feeding off of the Aquarius age. You see, depending on what position or what time you are in the age. So maybe about, let's say, 900 to 1,000 years ago, or maybe 1,100 years ago, we would have been in the center of the Pisces age, maybe a little more, the center, like the center. We would not have been feeding off of no other age, neither the Aquarius age or the age before the Pisces age, which would have been the Aries age. But if this was, let's say, 18, 1900 years ago, we would have been, of course, in the Pisces age, but we would have been still feeding off of some of the Aries age that we would have been coming out of. I hope you comprehend, because this is a very slow but precise movement. It's like watching, I guess, your fingernails grow or something. It takes time, but it's sure, it's happening. Good. So it's not, oh, it's midnight and the age would have changed. Very good. I just hope you understand that, you know. So really, to say it's the age of Aquarius, I mean, there's some energy in that, you know. I come not to, let's say, dismiss it with all due respect. And I mean, that's where we're going. But if we're going to judge it by percentage, we definitely still have the stronger Pisces age, but the Aquarius age for sure has been activated. We must understand that. Now, keeping all of that in perspective. Now, exactly. So that means we are moving on. The zodiac astrological readings that we get, listen to me good, the astrological readings that we get, the zodiac, which really, you know, astrology usually is really the ones that adopt the term zodiac, you know. And in astronomy, we'd say the ecliptic belt constellations, but still. The zodiac astrological outlook is designed for a climaxed Pisces age. That is where you have the zodiac sign of Capricorn beginning on the 22nd of December and coming to an end on the 20th of January. So that will work like about 1,000 years ago, maybe. Right now, again, we are declining out of the Pisces age. That sun would have moved several 1 degrees because we would have surpassed several 72 years. I wonder if you follow me good. If the sun has to move 1 degree, coming out of the age into another age every 72 years, in 720 years, the sun would have moved 10 degrees. So again, the astrological readings, not the readings as far as the value of the position of the moon, sun, and all of that stuff. No, not that aspect there. But the mathematics, because the mathematics is stagnant, it will also retard the reading that has a lot of value, but the value is given in the wrong time, it won't work. For example, today, let's bring it home now. For example, today, we have been told that this great eclipse is taking place in the constellation of Aries. There are millions of people viewing this. If it's one thing I know, with lunar and solar eclipses, total ones, when they happen, without a doubt, you can clearly see where the sun or the moon, or them both, because it's, you know, in this case, it's them both are. So when the moon totally goes in front of the sun, anyone who understands the constellations can clearly see without a doubt that both sun and moon are embracing each other in the fishes, or the two fish, Pisces. Family, the eclipse is not taking place in Aries. So, and again, that is only being expressed because astrology, a religion unto its own, and whatever the agenda of the hierarchy is, definitely refuses to look left or right. They're sticking on the zodiac chart of Merlin, the magician, and Archimedes, and these folks. But this is why now we adapt to ancient astronomy, where we could even see into the future and understand, you know, the movements of these same planets and stars, etc. So right now, this beautiful expression here, which is really taking place all over this part of the world, this corner, I should say, for 1 degree or the other. As I said, we are right here, somewhat even taking in the we're here taking in just a little piece. And as I'm speaking to you, it is actually looking to seal up even at this moment right now. Yes, royal family, you know, want to make sure that each and everyone understand this is the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. Of course, I'm Honorable Priest Isaac, giving thanks for your presence with us. Remember, this evening, I am looking forward to your presence with us in the Tiger's Nest. That is our radio program that comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 7 p.m. sharp on Radio Anu, the international flavor, the universal spice, priestisaacinstitute.com. priestisaacinstitute.com. That is the website, and you definitely get the radio station as you enter. And of course, you could email us priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com for any more information as it relates to anything you see taking place around us. So I'm looking forward for your presence. And let me also say here in a few minutes, right on Radio Anu, we're going to have a youth university. So in a moment, the link will be in the description below the video. Just press the link in the description below the video, and it will take you straight to Radio Anu. Oh, give thanks. Hold a good meditation, family. Yeah. Looking for you this evening. Join me at 7 p.m. Radio Anu. The link in the description below the video. Looking forward to seeing you. We're going to have a beautiful program.